uploading that, but okay, thanks for the weird shit. So this is 5 steps to prevent dementia and Alzheimer's. Basically, best thing you can do to prevent Alzheimer's is make sure you get regular sleep. Lack of sleep is probably the #1 risk factor. Second biggest risk factor are probably just cardiovascular risk factors. So being overweight, high LDL cholesterol in your blood, high blood pressure, things like that. So cardiovascular risk factors will also increase your risk. There's an association between Alzheimer's and high consumption of saturated fat, processed food like processed sugar. So I can already see some stupid shit. Medications, Wi-Fi exposure, omega ratios. There's not any good evidence for that, I know for sure. I think that's just protein consumption here. Oh man, I would, of course he doesn't link any research. Wi-Fi exposure. Are you fucking kidding me?
Everyone has directly experienced the cognitive decline of a family member, whether...
What's so strange, too, about using Wi-Fi exposure is, we're talking about people who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s who are experiencing Alzheimer's right now. A lot of these people probably don't even know how to use fucking computers. They're so old. Chances are, over their entire lifetime, they haven't really been exposed to much Wi-Fi at all. They might not even really be exposed to much Wi-Fi in their daily lives right now just because they're fucking old. They don't use things like fucking laptops and Bluetooth and shit like that. They're not rolling around with fucking Bluetooth headphones. So that makes it especially strange. I don't know where the fuck he would have gotten this idea from.
Whether it's your grandparents, parents, brothers, sisters, it's one of the worst things to ever happen. On the lesser end, someone having memory issues, forgetting conversations they had mere days ago, to extreme circumstances of violent behavior and not knowing who they are.
It's really weird how he changes his voice for these videos.
I posted a vlog where I visited my grandmother's doctor to ask him to take her off certain medications.
What? He's asking his grandmother's doctor to take her off of medications.
Any plan?
I do want to do more skits. What was the video titled? I think it was Day in the Life of a Stressed Out New Yorker? Day in the Life, yeah. Ugh.
I guess it's another day of Frankie boy doing things he doesn't want to do, so... But what's new? You can't do anything about it because no one listens to me. The other hand, we'll see. Hopefully the guy's here. So I'm going to go inside right now and we'll see what he has to say. This dirtbag flavor because the meat is super fresh.
Don't see anything about his grandmother, okay.
To ask him to take her off certain medications I knew were contributing to her cognitive decline. I warned my mother that my grandma wasn't going to be around too much longer taking that medication in that environment, following that diet. My mother brushed it off, so did my aunts and uncles. Now, unfortunately, my prediction came true and my grandmother needs 24/7 care, so hopefully I can help someone willing to listen and their loved one can enjoy many more years of their life. So these 5 are elements that I've gone over in past videos.
Anticholinergic statins, antidepressants, antipsychotics, anti-Parkinson's, bladder, epilepsy. What? The antidepressant and antipsychotic ones, okay, the antipsychotics, maybe I've heard some really potent antipsychotic medications have really, really nasty side effects. Antidepressants, that is extremely fucking hard to believe. If we're talking about SSRI medications, they're just serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Yeah, they can have bad side effects like cause sexual dysfunction and shit, but never seen anything relating that to Alzheimer's. Anti-Parkinson's medications? I don't know what he means by anti-Parkinson's medications, but yeah, there are medications designed for Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a neurological disorder. So why wouldn't you take medication for Parkinson's? Well, like, that's crazy. He's telling people who have a neurological disorder not to take medications to treat it? And I don't know what he means by bladder and epilepsy. This is weird. I think statins actually helps to prevent or treat Alzheimer's. Let's just quickly Google.
Die Hard fan.
Yeah, so in addition to their cardiovascular benefits, statins appear to reduce the risk for developing Alzheimer's dementia. Evidence for this effect is not consistent. Some large studies find no benefit, while others demonstrate an effect important enough to grab our attention. Most recently, carefully designed review and analysis conclude that Alzheimer's dementia risk is diminished with statin use, attributing the earlier disagreements to differing approaches that researchers took in gathering and understanding their results. Blah, blah, blah. That's not terribly surprising since cardiovascular risk factors are associated with Alzheimer's dementia risk. So any type of drug that helps to reduce heart disease risk, probably beneficial for dementia. I don't know where the fuck he's getting this statins cause dementia bullshit. That's just crazy. Karen Bar, appreciate it. Maestro Schlop donated $2. Frank is the most incompetent arch nemesis yet. Like, I'd feel bad if I had to deal with this idiot's half-baked world domination plans on a semi-consistent basis. At some point, you just have to let him get a win so he wouldn't off himself type of deal. Oh, I'd let him fucking kill himself. Who gives a shit? Good. But thanks for the nation, Mastro. I don't know how his parents handle him. It's baffling to me how they're so accommodating. Like, the guy's almost 30, and they're paying for his insurance. He lives with them for free and shit. It's really strange. The relationship he has with his parents is just plain fucking weird. But thanks for the donation, Matt. Or not Matt, Mastro. Matt donated...
Especially the 6 basics of health. Today specifically, we're going to apply them minimally, invasively to an elderly person's lifestyle. Number 1, most importantly, get them off any prescribed medications, notably statins. This requires an understanding.
Whoa! Frank is advising people to get their family members off of any prescribed medications. Is he out of his fucking mind? Yeah, I don't know, man. That is definitely borderline on the terms of service issue. Yeah, he's like promoting harmful or dangerous acts for sure. This guy's literally saying, yeah, don't listen to your doctor. Take your fucking grandma off of all of her prescribed medications. He literally didn't even name specific ones. He just said all of them, most problematic being, like, holy crap, that is fucking psychotic.
Of the drug, what it does. Most people just listen to everything the doctor says as gospel, as opposed to researching it on their own. Back around that same time of year.
Frank, yeah, doctors aren't always right, but I think a fucking medical doctor is a little more trustworthy than you, dude. No offense.
A year and a half ago, I made a video titled Statins Explained in 5 Minutes. If you want the detailed explanation about what they do, check out that video.
Let's actually take a look at that right now.
Statins are a class of drugs often prescribed by doctors to help lower cholesterol. Studies claiming that statins reduce risk of heart attack, stroke, and even death from heart disease by up to 35%. But you know what's odd? These studies disappeared in 2005. when they
I don't know what this article is. Did he link it? On the issue of whether cholesterol-lowering treatment lowers the risk of cardiovascular disease, the paper said claims of benefit from statin trials have virtually disappeared since new regulations introduced in 2005 by health authorities in Europe and the US specified that all trial data had to be made public, authors examined, blah, blah, blah. Where is he getting this from? Like, I mean, you can look on PubMed, like right now, statins meta-analysis. Comparison of statins for secondary prevention in patients with ischemic stroke, transient ischemic attacks. So secondary prevention, that means you've already had a heart attack. Let's see, conclusion. Evidence strongly suggests that statins are associated with a reduction in the absolute risk of ischemic strokes and cardiovascular events. Differences in effects among statins were modest, signaling potential therapeutic equivalence. All right. So that was from 2019. Like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? Like, disappearing research. These are one of the most well-researched class of drugs.
They made it a requirement to make all statin trials public. But hey, let's just ignore that because we're making too much money on statins. The real cause of heart disease
How is that relevant?
is omega-6 fatty acid, linoleic acid. When you consume large amounts of vegetable seed oils, they oxidize in your body, causing massive systemic inflammation in just about every cell. They get lost.
Okay, so this is complete bullshit. There are lots of studies on omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, risk of heart disease. A lot of them are mixed. Some show increased risk, some show decreased risk, some show no effect. I can concede that, okay, if you eat like really, really high levels of some of these processed like seed oils, like, I don't know, cottonseed oil all the fucking time, like, I don't know, you inhale potato chips and shit like that, yeah, probably bad for you. But as far as it being the cause of heart disease, that is complete fucking nonsense. The number one risk factor for heart disease is the absolute magnitude of exposure of the vasculature to LDL. That's the number one risk factor, and this is being proven in Mendelian randomization studies. Independent of any other risk factor, LDL increases your risk of heart disease.
Lodged in your arteries. But if you're consuming a natural diet, you won't have these inflammatory plant fats in your body in the first place. Now, what?
Yeah, okay, so this is beyond stupid. So Frank doesn't understand what omega-6 is. Omega-6 is an essential fat. You have to eat it. If you don't, you will die. So claiming that, like, this, the way he worded it, it seems like omega-6 is somehow avoidable. Okay, Frank, if you do not consume omega-6, you will die. There was actually a really weird case report. There was a girl who got shot in the stomach with a shotgun. So her stomach, her intestines were just gone. The only way to keep her alive was to feed her intravenously. And what happened was they actually didn't know what omega-6 was at the time. So when they were feeding her, they didn't include any omega-6 in her intravenous feeding. And she developed this like unheard of deficiency and had a weird side effect from it. Literally no one on the planet has ever experienced that because everyone is going to consume omega-6 to some extent. Then once they found out what it was, they fixed the feeding protocol. But like, Frank, meat has omega-6 in it. So if you're going to claim that, okay, these things are inflammatory, they're, oxidative, meat has that. So what are you talking about? Meat has other pro-oxidants in it. Heme iron. This guy eats so much red meat. Heme iron is a pro-oxidant. It will cause oxidative modification to your LDL. So if he's going to make the statement that, okay, oxidative modification to the LDL is what causes heart disease, then, okay, meat causes heart disease. You're going to have to admit that. This is insane. Casca.
But I would love to witness an Avi Frank debate on heart disease.
Oh, that would be just miraculous. Frank and Avi have interacted before, and Frank basically just threw a temper tantrum. Avi commented on one of Frank's videos, and yeah, Frank basically just threw a temper tantrum in his comment section. There's no way Frank would ever agree to debate Avi because he knows he'd lose. Frank hasn't done any debates in quite a while because of me. And he's kind of discovered that, oh, I'm actually an idiot. But yeah, that would be a dream come true. Thanks for the Nation Now selection.
What do statins actually do? They kill your cells. Simple as that. Their mode of action is primarily via inhibition of HMG-CoA reductase, that is, hydroxymethylglutarol coenzyme A, the rate-limiting enzyme in the cholesterol biosynthesis pathway. If we take a look at this pathway, the statins are at the top, inhibiting acetyl coenzyme A, the goal being to reduce cholesterol. But look at all of the other metabolic functions and processes in the body.
Statins do not increase risk of all-cause mortality. Look, there are potential side effects with statins. Yeah, they can, in some cases, cause muscle loss. They can affect things like energy sometimes. Usually the sort of contraindicators where statins are causing a worse health outcome than would otherwise be present if you were not using them, it's pretty rare. So, if the alternative is dying of a heart attack or getting your first heart attack, if the alternative is getting a heart attack, potentially dying, becoming crippled, a heart attack can easily cripple you. Or getting a second heart attack, which, even increases your risk of death or being disabled even more. If the choice is between that and potential side effects of statins, more often than not, the statins are a better option. And again, typically, side effects from statins are pretty minor. Most people don't have any issues from taking them. So this is just insane. Again, Frank, I'd love to see evidence that statins are horrible and they increase risk of death or disease or whatever.
We are trying to stop. The amount to go over here and understand for the average person is astronomical. Acetyl coenzyme A is a molecule that participates in biochemical reactions in protein, carbohydrate, and lipid.
This is just such a typical sort of tactic for these cholesterol denying morons. Don't go into the research, just bring up a bunch of terms and these complicated things that no normal person would understand and just fearmonger. It's oh, look, statins affect this right here, and then there's all these downstream effects. Is there any data that they're ever going to pull up on, whether or not statins increase the risk of dying, cause you to have, I don't know, some horrible side effects, disabilities? No, it's just fearmongering. This chart is confusing and scary to most people, and this is what they do.
Cholesterol and coenzyme Q10, a vitamin present in all eukaryotic cells. Normally, acetyl coenzyme A would be reduced into mevalonate. The mevalonate pathway is not only necessary for cholesterol and coenzyme Q10 production, it makes thousands of different molecules, such as heme, vitamin K, all of the steroid hormones. After several more metabolic reactions requiring various enzymes and genes, we branch off into two of the most important things for our body: cholesterol and coenzyme Q10. Cholesterol comprises all of our cell membranes, so without it, we can't heal our bodies. It's also a key component for bioproduction.
Okay, Frank, statins don't prevent you from creating any cholesterol, dumbass. What's the claim being made here? He's saying, oh, without cholesterol, we wouldn't be able to construct cells or heal. What does that have to do with statins? They don't eliminate your ability to produce cholesterol. Like, all they do is regulate your serum cholesterol so that you don't, like, die of a heart attack. And, like, completely unrelated claim.
Production. So by taking statins, you are impairing your body's digestive ability. It's needed as a precursor for all hormones, including vitamin D3. My grandma actually craves ice cream when they put her on a statin because her body is crying for energy. Coenzyme Q10 is...
What? Oh my god, that is so fucking stupid. Frank, I think your grandma just likes ice cream, dude. I don't think it has anything to do with her being on fucking statins. Like, is that listed as a side effect, may increase cravings of ice cream? Like, what the fuck?
Is important for mitochondrial respiration,
energy.
the energy production inside every single cell. The mitochondria are the most important factor in healthy aging and wellness. Statins essentially poison your mitochondria, inhibiting your ability to produce energy, and can even kill cells off.
This is bullshit.
This is why many people who take statins have muscle weakness and are unable to exercise. A good analogy for taking statins...
Yeah, so that's just a bullshit claim. Most people don't have severe side effects from statins, so that's just bullshit.
Is that they are like reducing the speed of your car from 100 miles per hour to 80 miles per hour because you are driving towards a brick wall. Yes, it might increase your likelihood of surviving the accident, but you are not looking at the right solution. Stop driving towards the wall. We know that...
So he literally just admitted that statins reduce risk of, like, heart attack and death. And then he's saying, don't take statins. What?
Statins are not healing people. We need to remove inflammation from the diet, get rid of the omega-6 fatty acids, especially the vegetable seed oils, reduce our refined carbohydrate and sugar intake, and consume more high-quality, nutrient-dense animal foods.
Yeah, so, like, literally the foods that you basically just admitted to cause heart disease. He just claimed that any any oxidizer will increase your risk of heart disease. So he said, omega-6, it's a pro-oxidant. It causes oxidative modification to your LDL. Okay, heme iron does that. So the animal foods we're talking about right now cause heart disease by your own admission.
Check out my video, Why Cholesterol is Good for You, as well as do our bodies produce enough cholesterol, to understand more about the...
Oh my god. You know what, like, I think we're gonna end up going down a rabbit hole where, okay, let's look at this stupid video, and then he links to another dumb video, so let's just go back to the Alzheimer's video.
Statins kill your brain cells by inhibiting the body's ability to utilize cholesterol, which is a necessary cell nutrient. But this isn't limited to statins.
That is complete nonsense. So cholesterol can't enter the blood-brain barrier. So claiming that the statin medications cause Alzheimer's because they prevent you from producing enough cholesterol. Cholesterol can't pass the blood-brain barrier. So no, like that makes no fucking sense.
Many medications, as well as chemicals, pollutants, additives in those medications contribute to cognitive decline. Another video I did was on allergy medications such as Benadryl, which most people think is harmless, causing memory loss. Millions and millions of people taking these harmless over-the-counter drugs. You have antidepressants, antipsychotics, anti-Parkinson's, bladder medications, epilepsy, I think probably, 50?
Parkinson's is a pretty serious disease. I'm pretty sure Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's. Like he's telling people not to take medications to control the disease. Like, that's insane.
70, how many millions and millions and millions of Americans are taking these medications without understanding the true negatives? Second, we want to reduce Wi-Fi exposure. And this is more of a minimally invasive solution as opposed to a complete lifestyle.
That's crazy.
I was watching a video on the Greek island Icaria the other day, and they all live to like 100 years old. Clean air, clean food, clean water, low radiation levels. If you can get the person to wear protective clothing, which
What island did he say?
on the Greek island Icaria,
Okay, no wait, it's Icaria. Oh, okay, it's spelled differently. A distinct version of the Mediterranean diet is followed in the Blue Zone island of Icaria, Greece. It emphasizes olive oil. Oh, one of those, like, fucking plant oils that are high in omega-6, right, Frank? Vegetables, beans, fruits, moderate amounts of alcohol, low quantities of meat and dairy. So basically, they eat a plant-based diet. Weird, Frank. They eat a plant-based fucking diet and they live long. Oh man, the level of self-own in his videos.
the other day, and they all live to like 100 years old. Clean air, clean food, clean water.
It's ridiculous, yeah, they eat a plant-based diet.
If you can get the person to wear protective clothing, which is what I wear all day, every day, WiFiShielding.com, t-shirt and underwear particularly, and then sleep in a bed canopy to protect their head, brain function, recovery. They shouldn't have to change too many lifestyle factors, although, it's maybe 60-70% of the way there. This will significantly reduce the oxidative damage being caused to their brain and organs by various sources of radio frequency radiation.
I'd love to
I
see
have a
the
whole
evidence
playlist
of this.
Many hours if you want more details, which
This
may
is
apply
so
to
dumb.
your specific circumstance. Third is to increase protein consumption. My grandma actually got a hold of some of the best bars that we make on Frankie's Free Range Foods.
So sometimes with elderly individuals, it's recommended to increase protein intake to help with them holding on to muscle mass. You do need a certain amount of protein to hold on to muscle. And a lot of elderly people, they either don't eat well or they have a reduced appetite, and some of the food choices they make are just kind of dumb. Like, I've seen a lot of old men who have no appetite and they'll just sit on their front porch and just drink a few beers. Maybe they'll have a small meal at night and that's it. Like, a lot of people, old people, eat kind of stupid, and then some of these nutritional interventions, they're kind of targeted to, help them hold on to muscle mass, improve their functional capacity. So that's not necessarily a bad recommendation, but no, increasing your meat intake isn't going to fucking help reduce Alzheimer's risk. That's just stupid.
Which have whey protein in them, but they actually kind of taste like cake. My uncle stopped by the warehouse and I gave him some to try, but he actually ended up visiting my grandma and she wasn't eating anything, but she ate those, which brings us to elderly people over-consuming sweets, baked goods, and junk food. Protein is high in B vitamins, which is crucial, the most important nutrient.
Protein is high in B vitamins? What? Yeah, Frank, protein is high in protein. That's pretty much it. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Website he mentioned, WiFiShielding.com, and he's modeling for a lot of the items advertised there. Does he own that shop?
Yeah, he's the one who set up that page, and he's selling bullshit Wi-Fi shielded garments. It's the most stupid. I don't know who's dumb enough to buy that crap. It's weird, man. But yeah, he's the one who owns that website and is making the sales. But thanks for the Nation Onion spam. Appreciate it.
Arguably for brain function. Whey protein in particular happens to be a concentrated source of B vitamins.
Let me actually look that up. Let me log into Chronometer. Log in. There we go. So let's see. Whey protein. Whey protein powder. 1 scoop, I guess. It's got a little bit of it's got some B vitamins in it. Let's just compare it to generic soy. Soy protein isolate. I don't think that's the same serving size. Whey protein, okay. Yeah, so the B vitamin content is lower, but I mean, you can just eat something like nutritional yeast, 2 tablespoons. So this is 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Just 2 tablespoons absolutely blows it out of the water in terms of B vitamin content. And like even a fucking potato. So wait, not a sweet potato. Potato. Why the fuck? Potato boiled with skin, 1 large potato. Even potatoes have like a decent amount of B vitamins. So I don't know why he's claiming like you need to eat meat to get your B vitamins, or like protein is high in B vitamins. It's kind of fucking weird. Mark donated.
Because it's like drinking a cup of milk in 1 or 2 spoons of powder. I mean, if you look at the diet of any elderly person, they are lacking animal protein. And even if you do include it in their diet, because of the radiation in the environment, you know, their organs might not be able to digest the food, so you might have to include protein digesting enzymes such as pepsin, trypsin, and chymotrypsin. But the dairy, the whey protein, especially grass-fed from a local farm, is an approachable way for someone that isn't too keen on eating meat. You know, you could even make cookies and various baked goods and
or you could eat nutritional yeast, which is better for you.
Cookies with protein powder is a great way to get an elderly person with a sweet tooth.
Is vital wheat gluten the best source of protein for vegans?
To get those B vitamins for their brain, which ties directly to number 4, balancing the omega-3 to omega-6 ratios in the diet. As we spoke about that Greek island earlier, you know, this is a matter of minimally invasive changes to a person's lifestyle diet, not an entire revamp.
Yeah, this is so funny. He literally just went on a rant before about how omega-6 causes oxidative damage and shit like that. The island you just mentioned, they eat a ton of olive oil. It's like a fucking Greek island. They're essentially following a Mediterranean diet. Not much meat, very plant-based, but they also consume like a lot of olive oil. So now, apparently, omega-6 isn't a problem?
That will not stick. Yeah, there might be an elderly person that does enjoy eating scrambled brains and eggs, I mean, but that person probably doesn't have brain issues. High omega-6, particularly linoleic acid, contained in seed oils, soybean, canola, is very high in those baked goods, those processed foods, causes massive amounts of oxidative stress, makes the cholesterol molecules in your body inflamed. It's the single most damaging thing you can consume.
This is really strange too, because you can actually look at saturated fat feeding. Saturated fat feeding actually makes your LDL particles more prone to oxidative modification. So kind of weird how he brings up omega-6 specifically. Olive oil is high in omega-6, and the island you just mentioned, like that Greek island in the Mediterranean, they consume a pretty omega-6 rich diet. The fact is, not much is really known about omega-6 ratios. There's not really any good research either way showing like high omega-6 is terribly bad for you. There's a bit of mixed research. I think generally speaking, the recommendation is to eat about a 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. Part of that is because of the, it's like an enzyme binding affinity, essentially. There's an enzyme that breaks down omega-6 and omega-3, and because of the binding affinity, it's about a 4-to-1 ratio. That's what some of that is based on. Some of the research shows that seem like a 4-to-1 ratio is kind of ideal for overall health. There's some research showing that really, really high omega-3 versus omega-6 is a bit better for certain cancers, but there's not really any good data on this. So focusing on like omega-6 ratios, yeah, okay. Like you shouldn't be eating chips and French fries and eating like crap that's fried in like cottonseed oil and crap. I'd agree, but worrying about omega-6 to 3 ratio is kind of stupid. I think most people, as long as they're eating sensibly, they'll fall in a ratio that's just fine.
outside of direct toxins and pollutants on a cellular level. And it counteracts some very important nutrients needed for brain function, the omega-3 fatty acids. As we get older, the body has a harder time with basic metabolic functions. So the more we're able to remove the negatives and include the positives, there is less margin of error for disease. In this case, eliminating the oxidative damage from omega-6 and adding omega-3 so our body isn't stressed to synthesize.
Cool. So now he's admitting meat causes Alzheimer's because it like things like heme iron are pro-oxidant.
By lacking omega-3 in the diet, it's just too many negatives and not enough positives. Number 5.
Hey, Pugman, what's up?
We are made of energy. Our body contains electrons, which are negatively charged particles that carry energy. Free radicals, which cause oxidative stress, have an uneven number of electrons, and we can't remove those easily from our body. Humans are meant to be in direct contact with the earth through natural materials. Barefoot on the ground, leather moccasins, touching a tree. Your body will discharge excess electrons into the earth, and you become neutral. When you're disconnected.
Oh, you want to bet he got this from Bart K? He's getting this from Bart K. I know Bart K sleeps with a copper wire around his toe, and he connects it into the ground in like a wall outlet. I think this is where he's getting this from.
Like I am right now on the second floor of my house, you build up electrons.
Again, no research supporting this.
For an elderly person, this can mean taking a walk on a natural trail, simply grounding their bed sheet or whatever. And I think if you even look it up, they have...
How the fuck can you ground a bed sheet? It's non-conductive.
Grounded hospital beds. And when I had jaw surgery, they actually put me in a room with lead walls. So these doctors, these people higher up, know very well about certain secrets. Who they use them on, I guess.
I don't think Frank understands what grounding is.
I don't know. I've done videos on grounding. The bed canopy that I have on.
Like, what does he talk? Like, he doesn't understand what grounding is. He just said, "Oh, when I had my surgery, they put me in a room with lead walls." That has nothing to do with grounding. He doesn't know what that is.
Wi-Fi shielding is actually grounded, and I also have grounding straps available on the website that you can just put on your sneakers or regular shoes. So when you go hiking, you don't need, some type of expensive natural leather footwear. From that minimal.
Leather isn't even conductive.
Murphy's God is more believable than Frank's EMF and mechanistic nutrition views.
Yeah, it actually is, honestly. I'd quicker believe in Connor Murphy's ridiculous ideas of God than Frank's weird EMF beliefs. Thanks for the donation, Schlaction. Yeah, like, leather isn't even conductive. Yeah, it's an insulator. Yeah, leather is an insulator and it's non-conductive, so what is he talking about? That literally makes no sense. And, like... Wait, so does he have, he mentioned a grounding strap. Is that on the Wi-Fi thing? Ethernet adapter for iPhone and Android. Oh my god, dude. Anti-radiation air tube headphones. Oh, this is the grounding strap. That... I guess that would work better than leather shoes, but... Well, like, what is this? So it looks like the one strap has metal contacts in it, maybe? And then that can get transferred into the ground, but... That... Like, I don't know, this just seems like a useless strap. I don't see how that would actually help electricity pass into the ground. Who's buying this? This is just fucking crazy.
minimally
It's
invasive perspective.
retarded.
Educate them and their family on the medications they use. Get them a bed canopy, reduce their cell phone usage, turn off Wi-Fi devices if possible. Add some whey protein to a milkshake, their ice cream, their baked goods. Get them to have steak a couple nights a week. Homemade instead of processed foods. Add fish a few times per month. That will both reduce the omega-6 and increase the omega-3. Take them walking at least once per week, or ground.
Okay, well that was dumb. I think we're done with that.